Hey everybody, what's good? I'm Ryan McKee and this is a new perspective. This channel intention is to bring awareness and enlightenment to the unseen, tackling the real issues, breaking through mental barriers to discover, unlock, and understand your true propensity, to create passion that will spark desire to build from the inside out. Now, today's interesting topic that I want to talk about. I want to talk about the Verts. No, not Eddie and Gerald, no. I'm talking about introvert, extrovert, ambivert, and ambivert. Yeah, that's a new one for me. So let's get into it. Now, what's an introvert? Well, introverted people are people who focus on their inner thoughts rather than the outer world. Now we see these people a lot of time may come off shy, reserved. They most likely would be the type of people, hey man, what you doing? Oh, I'm cool. I'm chilling in the house, watch TV or I'm in my books or stuff like that. They're the introverted people. They may come off guarded, protective, and elusive. Um, Now, something that I found out more recently is that there are four types of introverted people. You have social, who value their solitude more than most people, which I do. I mean, they're the type of people who, we just sometimes we just want to be alone. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes, we don't, won't be so much on big crowds or going out as much. I'd rather, spend more time alone or more just closing settings. That that's just how I am. That's what I prefer. Yeah, some people will disagree, but those are the social introverted people. A lot of them may have social anxiety. I know at first I did kind of have social anxiety, didn't even know where it came from, realizing that that's just, I guess, part of who I am. Once I got older and I matured a little bit, so you know, you have the thinking introverted people. There are the intellectuals. They're the ones that's in their studies. They might be into philosophy, a lot of theories, ideologies. Um, they're the people who just they're thinkers. They live in their head. Their head becomes um, their platform to perform. Rather than outwardly, they do it inwardly. Um, so they most likely, like I said, they would be like the research and the investigating, the analytical people or whatever. Then you have the anxious introverted. Now, there are most likely the hermits that they might come off defensive and protective. They're the type, you know, uh, they may value their space more than anybody, rather than, some of them may be claustrophobic. They're not going to let you, get too close to them because that's just how they are. And then you have the restrained introverted people who are reflective. Sometimes they are seen unemotional, and they the type people take their time. They're the type people who are very methodical in their approach to life, and they may have a stoic way or way of being about them, whereas they just they restrain. They're very cautious. You know, um, they may come off as antisocial and cold, aloof, or what I mean. Because what it is social exhaustion, and so like I said, explaining it in the beginning, introverted people are not afraid or not scared of people. It just the social exhaustion, just the energy. Like I said, energy is everything. So the energy may be overwhelming for them. So don't think of it as a fear or a phobia. And if it's fear and phobia, it's something other than that, along with the introverted side of them. So don't make it seem as if it's a fear and oh they don't like people or he antisocial. They might be at times, not all the time though. So it all depends. Now we're gonna move to extroverted people. We know the extroverted people, the outgoing, the life of the party. The assertive, fun to be around. Um, a lot of times they could get coined for being attention seeking, which it could be true, it could not be true. People have different motives. But they the type of people they most likely they engage in risky behaviors because they extroverted. People fuse them. That's their energy source. See, the difference between introverted, extroverted is fueled by inner. Extroverted is more fueled by outer. So that's a little bit of difference. Um, some of them are unable to spend time alone, and then they like big circles. Me personally, I well, I'm gonna get into it later. So you have four types of extroverted people. You have extroverted sensors, which is stimulated by the information on the physical world and what surrounds them. They are like the hands-on, adventurous type people. They are the greatest risk takers. So they are the people who aren't afraid of a challenge. In fact, they welcome the challenge. Um, that's how they get their energy source. Like I said, hands on. They're most likely the people who they want to try stuff. Their curiosity is just, let me try this, let me try that, cause let me get a feel for it. Those are them type of people, and that's how they feel, and they learn, they get their energy. And you have extroverted intuitors. Intuitors. Yeah, this is all new to me too. I didn't even know that, to be honest. There are like the what ifs type people, the hypothetical. There are the people who they'll be good in debates and deep intellectual conversation. See now, some people have a lot of this in them, for the most part. Whereas like I love debates. I love deep intellectual conversation. Like what I mean, I'm fueled by that. Hypothetical. I got a little part of that in me. I'm pretty sure many of you do too. Um, then you have the extroverted feelers. They are the people oriented people. They spend less time alone, and like people just give them a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Now the extroverted fillers, I kind of it's funny because I can see myself in each of these categories, but for some reason, for this one in particularly, I kind of back then used to judge them harshly, and that's why I made a channel so we could look at each other and be like, man, I got a little bit. There's no reason to judge because maybe I ain't look at it that way. Cool, you know. Yeah, they're the people oriented people. The people oriented people. Y'all know what I mean. These are the type of people. They may seem like people pleasers, but they like just being around people makes them feel good, and they spend less time alone. It's like I know a lot of people who are like that, and I used to always say, me being naturally introverted, how can you know be turned off by just having some alone time? For the most part, you always got to be around people. Like, just really, that's how I was when I was, But then now I see a part of this in me. So they are the extroverted fillers. Making sure everybody happy, making sure everybody cool. They can conversate in both deep and small talk. They're the people who like people, who love people. They spend less time alone. All right. Now we got the extroverted thinkers. They're seen as the natural leaders because they're very like decisive and confident. These are the CEOs. These are the overachievers. These the people who get the job done. Um, they're fueled by hard work and achieving their dreams. So that's what keeps them going. So that's why they're like, okay, I got a task. It's no end with them. And whether you introverted or extroverted, you should never really have an end. You should always keep going. But with them, they're motivated by hard work. They get it. You know what I mean? Next task, next task. That's are those type of people. They're the natural leaders. Now, the mystery of the four. I'm gonna go into both of them: ambivert and omnivert. Now, here's the thing. This is funny because it's tricky because with ambivert they sit in between introverted and extroverted. They may come off unpredictable. You know, no, I'm sorry, very predictable, level and predictable. Ambivert is level and predictable. Excuse me. Ambivert isolate between the two extremes, so it's situational. So it's almost like, okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Ambivert is the type of people who could they could display traits of introverted and extroverted almost simultaneously. They'll know when to stop talking. They'll know when to talk. They know when to be outgoing. They know when to be reserved. It's a balance, you know. Ambivert is situational. It depends on the situation. They're the chameleons. Okay, now that makes sense. They're the chameleons. They're like, if they're in a social group, they're social. But if they're in a group where it's nobody really talking, and they go into introvert mode. I'm chilling. So it's almost like with the ambivert, you cannot really tell. A lot of people will try to figure them out, like the introverted, extroverted, and with ambivert, you can kind of see both sides simultaneously almost. They kind of would know when to cut one off and then where the next one begins. And so ambivert, like I said, is situational. Like I said, I see myself in a lot of these categories. I just now think about it, I probably do have a little ambivert in me. I remember I used to be like, it depends on the situation. Sometimes I'm like this, sometimes I'm like that. But then I could be ambivert. Sometimes, you know what I mean? I could level it out. So, they are the verts for you. This was interesting because I actually enjoyed myself doing this topic because it's like, you know, it's always a joy when you are not just in teacher mode and you're also in student mode because you learn, you teach. So when you learn something else, it's like a passion, it's like a spark. It's like, oh wow, you know what I mean. And as you're teaching other people, you learn it as well. So it was actually very exciting doing this topic. Um, Stay tuned for the next episode. We have still great things coming, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, peace.